VSG update. For those of you that don't know, my name is Manny. I was sleeved on February 21st, 2019 by Dr. Eddie Gomez at Jackson Bariatric Center. At the time of surgery, I weighed my highest, which was 344 pounds. And today I am about 5.5 weeks post-op, about 5 weeks post-op, and I am weighing 306 pounds, so I have lost 38 pounds so far. I had recorded a video for week 3 and week 4, and I'm not sure what happened. My son had my phone, I went to iMovie, and it was no longer there. So now I'm re-recording. The video was actually pretty short. There wasn't very much information for week 3 and 4. I was going to post this last week, but my kids had spring break and it was chaotic. So now they're back at school, and I actually have, well, you can't see her, but she's sleeping in the back seat. My daughter, I just picked her up from school. The boys are still in school, and I'm trying to take advantage of a few minutes now to just kind of quickly go on and update about week 3 and week 4. So week 3, the biggest challenge I had was my belly button incision. I was walking about 2 miles a day, and all of a sudden, towards the end of the week, my belly button incision started draining some fluid, and I was terrified. I thought it was an infection. Those of you that have been following along know that my belly button has been a problem for me from the beginning. It hurts really badly. It's hurting less now, but it was hurting very badly then. And so that was a big issue for me. So when I saw fluid, I completely panicked. I contacted the doctor. They said, just keep an eye on it. It's most likely nothing if you have no fever, no chills. It's probably not an infection. Keep an eye on it over the weekend, and if it continues, call us on Monday and we'll bring you in. So I went in and saw the surgeon. I believe it was on Tuesday of week 4. I went in and saw the surgeon. He looked at it, said everything was fine, that it was actually nothing, that it was just drainage, because most of the weight that I carry is in my abdomen, is in my belly. And so when I was walking so much, obviously my body, 344 pounds, was not used to walking this much. And so because I was doing that, most of the, I guess the exertion that was happening was from my belly. And all of that walking was pulling on the heaviness of my belly and causing it to kind of stretch a little bit where the incision line is, and that's causing the drainage. So he's kind of restricted me on walking until that completely heals up and I don't have any more problems. The other 4 incisions I have no issues with. So I've been doing, he told me to do hydrogen peroxide 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night, and to dry it out and then put gauze in it. And once the gauze starts coming out clean, then I can stop doing that whole process and I can resume walking and exercise. So I am now 5 weeks post-op as of 4 days ago, and it is 3 days ago, and it is still draining. I'm still doing the peroxide, but the draining is still happening. So he told me no 2 people are alike. The draining for me could take longer, the incision could take longer to heal. I have a pretty deep belly button. So he said that could be one of the causes, that it's a pretty deep belly button, and he did it at the very base. So it's a bigger incision, and he was trying to hide it. So little complications, but overall that was the biggest complaint with week 3. I was still on purees, and I was super excited about transitioning. On my plan, they had me transitioning to regular food on week 4. So when I got to week 4, I was ready. I was tired of Jello and protein and like the protein shakes, and I wanted food. I wanted some kind of food. And so the first thing I did was in the morning, and I made myself a scrambled egg, and it didn't go well, guys. It did not go well. It actually went really badly. It sat so heavy in my stomach that it made me nauseous, and I ended up throwing up. So I laid off of the eggs for a day or 2. I had tried some chicken. That sat really heavy. Tuna was just not, like, nothing was working for me meat-wise. So I said, okay, back to protein shakes and everything I was doing before. And I just kind of, little by little, started easing things into my diet while I kept the majority. I kept the cottage cheese, I kept the protein shakes, I kept all of that so that I could continue getting the protein that I needed and getting my body kind of acclimated to real food again, because it had been a month since it had had anything that wasn't mushy, runny, yucky consistency, right? So now I'm very proud to announce that I am on regular food. I finally transitioned myself over to regular food. And that was middle of week 4. I was able to now, for breakfast, for example, just kind of like what I eat in a day. For breakfast, it is usually a soft scrambled egg. Sometimes I'll put tomatoes and onions in it. Other times I'll just do the egg. I almost always have a piece of avocado. And sometimes I'll do some of the everything but the bagel seasoning from Trader Joe's. If you haven't tried it, you need to. If you liked bagels or if you like the everything bagel, it's heaven. You literally don't miss the bagel with it. I'm obsessed. I can't talk highly enough about it. I love it. Also, like the last 2 days, I believe, my mom is originally, backstory, my mom is originally from Central America, Honduras. So they have this food that's a pretty transitional food throughout the day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But for breakfast, it's a homemade flour tortilla, and it has some refried beans, a little bit of like sprinkled cheese, some cream, it's like kind of like a sour cream, kind of. More of like I don't know, it's like a sour cream, but not sour cream. But it's like some kind of cream that they put on top, and then usually a scrambled egg. And so I've taken everything that's inside of it, and that's what I've been doing for the last 2 days. Just trying to figure out different ways to get higher protein, because believe it or not, a scrambled egg and an avocado, not a lot of protein. So I implemented this without the flour tortilla, and so I'm eating a scrambled egg with some of the refried beans, a little piece of the cheese, and some of the cream stuff on top of the beans. And I've actually eaten it for, like I said, 2 days, and it's gone very well. I haven't had any issues with it at all. And it's higher protein because now I have the beans and the cheese and the egg. So I'm probably going to be sticking to that a few days a week, probably most days out of the week, just because it sits well on my stomach and it feels like a good meal, and I'm happy with it. So that's breakfast. Lunch is almost always a protein shake, just because the protein that I used to do Premier Protein, but they were so sweet. Like, that's one thing that has changed for me drastically since surgery, is the sweetness level of things, where I used to think, like a piece of chewing gum, normally like juicy fruit, I loved it and I would chew it and it was great. Now, it's so sweet. Like, I have to spit it out because it's too much. So my sweetness sensors have heightened. So this protein powder, a family member of mine told me about, and it's I'm gonna link it below. I don't know if it's Optimal Nutrition or Optimum Nutrition. I don't know. I'll link it below in the description box under the video. But it's Gold Standard Whey, and I do the double rich chocolate, and I do a scoop of that with the 2 tablespoons, or I think it's actually only do like 1.5 tablespoons of PB Fit. And I bought some super ripe bananas, and I cut them up and I froze them in little baggies. So I grabbed some frozen bananas, a little bit of ice, a little bit of unsweetened vanilla almond milk, and I make my own protein shake. And so that has been a godsend, because it's not very sweet. It's sweet enough for me, who sweet sensors heightened. The banana makes it perfectly sweet. So, excuse me. VSG problems. So, the protein shake has been a godsend. So usually my everyday lunch is usually the protein shake. Then for dinner, like I said, chicken has been kind of heavy on me. I haven't tried steak, I haven't tried pork, but chicken, shredded, grilled, however, has been feeling kind of heavy, so I've kind of stayed away from it because I don't like that feeling. The heavy feeling where it feels like your stomach could just explode even though you've only had like one bite. It's not a good look on anyone. So I've been staying away from that, and so instead I have actually started eating a lot of salmon. It's super high in protein. 4 ounces is like 25 grams of protein, And so I'm eating about 3 ounces because my tummy can hold about 4 ounces total per meal. So I eat about 3 ounces of salmon for dinner and 3 or 4 Brussels sprouts, and usually 3. So 3 Brussels sprouts and 3 ounces of salmon, and then I'm good. And that's like a meal. That's it. I'm done. Snack wise, I have been really sticking with cottage cheese, unsweetened applesauce, the Oikos 000 yogurts. I love banana, I love peach, and I love strawberry. Those are my 3 go-to for everything: banana, peach, and strawberry. And let's see, what else do I do? Oh, my newest obsession, this started in week 4. I don't know if this has happened to anyone else. I've always liked pickles. I've always loved them, but not like this. I literally eat the kosher dill spears. I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. I eat like 2 to 3 throughout the evening, and I even drink pickle juice. I know, I'm ashamed, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I do. And it's like I need it, like I crave it, like when you're pregnant and you crave things. That is me with dill pickles. I crave the dill pickles. So I've been eating tons of them. As a matter of fact, the other day we were at the grocery store, and I remember I told my husband, "Oh, I need pickles. Hold on." So I ran down the aisle and he's following me, and then so I grab a jar, and then I grabbed another jar, and then he's like, "Okay, I think that's enough." And I was like, "I'm not done. Stand by." And I grabbed a 3rd jar, and so I was like walking like this with my pickles. People must have thought I was pregnant. And since I carry most of my weight in my belly, they probably did think I was pregnant. But no. Sorry to disappoint. I have 3 and I'm done. I just love pickles. Now, like post VSG, pickles are life. Pickles and avocados are life. So, dill pickles, cottage cheese, yogurt, unsweetened applesauce. Oh! I also, for those of us that miss the crunch, I found these crackers. They're called multigrain Crunchmaster. I will, if you follow me on Instagram, I put them on my Instagram because I was so impressed by them. They are delicious. That's like quinoa and flax seeds and sesame seeds and all kinds of seeds. They're delicious. They're super low in calories, and they have some protein in them, but the super low in calories and the super low in carb is awesome, and they're delicious. I think it's like you can eat like 17 of them for like 110 calories, but I don't eat 17, obviously. I'll get like 6 or 5, and I'll get a square of cheese or 2 squares of like the cracker cut cheese, and I'll eat that, like crackers and that, or I'll do hummus with the crackers also. That's been good. I've also been doing cucumber. I slice it, well, I peel all the skin off of it, then I slice it up, and then I've been doing cream cheese. So cucumber with a little bit of cream cheese on it, and then some everything but the bagel seasoning. Super flippin' delicious. Haven't tried it? You should. I was kind of nervous about the cucumber because it's a raw vegetable, not cooked, but it sits really well. It's super high with water, which we all know. I have a water problem. So any extra little bit that I can get in there, I will try and I will do. So that has been my biggest, I think the biggest takeaway from week 3 and week 4 and most of week 5 has been that I like eating, that you still get hungry, like pre-VSG, you still get hungry, but the hunger is like, it's a different kind of hungry. Like you feel like you're hungry because you need to eat, not because you want to eat. Whereas before it was more like a mental hunger. That's still there. Oh, that is still there. But your sleeve, your tummy, it doesn't allow you to eat like you would have eaten in the past. Yesterday was a prime example. I was starving. I hadn't eaten anything all day. It was lunchtime. I had a birthday party with my daughter for one of her classmates in the afternoon. And I said, well, I better eat now, because we all know people who throw birthday parties don't usually have healthy options for those of us who cannot eat or are not eating the unhealthy options. Word to the wise, if you're a parent and you have a child and you're throwing a birthday party, let's get some variety in there, people. I literally, every party I go to, it's like pizza, and I'm in South Florida with like a huge Cuban influence, so it's like these delicious guava and cheese pastries, and these like deep fried little round things that they call croquetas, and all of this food. It's great, but I'm not eating it. Not because I can't, but because I know that if I take a bite of the pastry, or I take a bite of the croqueta, or I take a bite of the pizza, it's not good for me. And my tummy can only hold so much. And if I'm not meeting my protein intake for the day, then that's not a good day. So I was like, let me get my lunch in now. And what I had on hand, I had like meal prepped salmon and Brussels sprouts. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna grab one. And so I had one of the salmons with Brussels sprouts, and it's still the same 3 ounces, the same 3-4 Brussels sprouts. And I didn't even eat the Brussels sprouts, it was just the salmon. I don't know if I ate too quickly. I don't know if I ate too much, because I was still starving, like pre-VSG starving. And I think it was a combination of I ate too much and I ate too quickly. And oh man, it was bad. The food was heavy. It was like up in my throat, and I couldn't breathe. And I was like leaning back, and I'm like, oh, this isn't good. Let me sit straight up. This isn't any better. Oh boy. And it just kept going, and it was like not moving. And as soon as I'm done eating, I always set the timer on my phone for 30 minutes so that I know I can drink after I eat. So I set the timer, 30 minutes passed, I was gonna take a drink, but I still felt like the food was like in here. I couldn't handle it. So I went to the restroom, I told my kids, I'm like, just go, get out of the way. I think I'm gonna throw up. And they hate that that food makes me sick now. All 3 of them, they feel like, I don't know, guilty. They feel my pain. I'm not really sure what they feel, but they don't enjoy it. When they see that I'm getting sick and running to the restroom, they know that it's not good. So they're like, oh mom, are you sick? Is it the food? Was it the salmon? But I thought you were eating the salmon okay. And I was like, no, I think I just ate too fast. So it made me sick. I ended up throwing up. So I don't know if I really kept anything in my stomach. I don't think I did, because it was unpleasant. And then I went to the birthday party, and of course, pizza, pastries, birthday cake, soda. I had 2 cups of water. I was there for about 3.5 hours. 2 cups of water. So, just PSA. If you're gonna have a birthday party, get like a veggie platter at least. So those of us who cannot eat pizza but would love to eat pizza have something, or have an option. Anywho, so that's been a big challenge for me. The still wanting to eat, the still mental hunger, like I see food and I still want to serve myself more than I know that I can eat. Obviously I don't serve myself the mountains like I used to, but like I want to make 2 scrambled eggs instead of 1, because I know I can only eat 1, but I still want to make 2, because in my mind I might be able to eat 2. I'm not eating 2, I'm eating 1. So that's been a big challenge for me. Also, I've gotten super bummed out, kind of depressed, just overall not feeling great. And obviously it's all correlated with food. I understand that. I know that. It's like the food blues. I get kind of emotional. I get super sad. I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to deal with anyone. I just want to be left alone. Like, I just want to crawl into bed and be left the heck alone. And I want everyone to forget that I exist for a while so I can just sit there and mope, because I literally get really bummed out that everyone else in my house is eating. Like, we'll go out and everyone is eating, or my husband will bring food home and everybody's eating and I cannot eat it. They're eating normal food. If we're out with the kids and we're, like the other night, we had this big music festival called Ultra here in Miami, and my 13-year-old wanted to drive by it. It's at the beach, so we loaded the kids up and we went for a drive late. And the kids started getting hungry, so my husband just went through the McDonald's drive-thru, and you know, they all had like chicken sandwiches and chicken nuggets and whatever, and I'm just sitting there going, I didn't eat breakfast. I had a cup of cottage cheese for lunch. I haven't had dinner. I'm starving. And I knew I could have eaten chicken nuggets. I knew I could have eaten a couple French fries. I knew I could have probably had a bite of a cheeseburger, maybe 4 bites of a cheeseburger, but I didn't do it. And then I got angry. I was angry at my husband. I was angry at myself. I was, for the first time since surgery, I was regretting I had surgery because I was really hungry and I had no food options. So that has been difficult, dealing with those emotions, which, I mean, you know, they prepare you for it before surgery. They let you know that these things will happen. It's normal. You're not any different than anyone else who has a food addiction, who is making this dramatic, drastic, tremendous lifestyle change. You are exactly like everyone else in this one aspect, that if you were addicted to food, which most likely you were, if you were like me and allowed yourself to get to 344 pounds, you're going to feel sad. You're going to feel upset. You're going to feel angry. You're going to go through probably all the stages of grief, because I'm pretty sure I'm there. And you're going to realize at the end that it's worth it. And for me, I've lost 38 pounds. I don't feel any differently. As far as like my clothing fitting me, or as far as like me looking at myself in the video or in the camera or in anything, I don't see a difference in myself. I just posted a 1-month post-op picture in my Instagram, so you can see if you see a difference. I do not. But I've lost 38 pounds. I promise, Scout's honor, I have lost 38 pounds. And I think the biggest thing for me with losing the 38 pounds has been more non-scale victories than the number on the scale, because the number on the scale doesn't make me feel any different. But when I sit in my car, because this is literally like my quiet place, like my mommy happy place, I can listen to my music, I can be left alone, I don't have kids going, mom, 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 every 5 minutes, because apparently dad doesn't exist, only mom does. So, this is kind of like, this is where I usually do my recordings, so for now, because it's the only place that I have quiet. But going back to what I was saying, which I forgot what I was saying. Dang it. Non-scale victories. I remember now. Okay, so the biggest, I think, for me hasn't been the number on the scale, even though it's awesome. 38 pounds is amazing, and I'm so grateful to my tool. I'm grateful to my surgeon. I'm just grateful to everybody. But for me, getting in the car seat, this was like sitting in my driver's seat like a week ago, taking the kids. It was the last day of school, and before spring break, and I sat in the car in the morning to take the kids to school, and it was the usual chaos of having a 12 and a 13-year-old boy arguing about everything, and then the 5-year-old diva daughter in the back seat trying to control the boys and them not wanting to be controlled, and typical chaos. So I remember I sat in my seat and I looked over at my son and I'm like, did you move my seat? And he's like, what are you talking about? Why would I move your seat? I don't drive. I'm like, did you adjust it? Did you move it back? And he's like, no. Does it feel like it's moved back? And I was like, well, my belly isn't hitting the steering wheel. And I was like, oh crap, my belly's not hitting the steering wheel. I was very excited. So that's been a huge deal to me. That's where I've seen it, is when I sit in my car, I have tons of room between me, like for me it's tons of room, but like tons of room between me and the steering wheel. Also, lower back pain. I used to not even be able to stand up to make dinner for my family because I would get such bad lower back pain. I'd have to sit down every few minutes and then stand up and then sit down again and then stand up. And now, Mama's good to go. Mama stood for 3.5 hours at that birthday party yesterday and had no problem. My right knee was starting to hurt like a month before surgery. No more knee pain. So I think my non-scale victories super duper outweigh my what the scale says and what I feel like I look like victories. To me, non-scale all the way, hands down, is the way to me, it's what makes me feel better. Because it's what I see, like, I'm like, dang, my pants, I feel like they fit the same. My shirt, maybe it's a little bit looser, but not really that much. but there's space between the belly and the steering wheel. So we're making progress, people. So week 5 so far is going good. Nothing new. I've already pretty much updated you on what's happening so far. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Still taking my vitamins. I take Women's Centrum. It's the big pill, and so I just break it in half. I take biotin. I take my D3. I take my B12. I take another one, and I can't remember. I take a lot of pills at night. I'm still taking my blood pressure medicine, but I don't know. Like when I went to the doctor for my belly button incision, my blood pressure was super low. It was like 90/62 or something crazy like that. It was like some crazy low number. So she told me I need to talk to my primary and make sure that he doesn't need to adjust it, because if it's too low, it could be dangerous. So that's on my to-do list. Haven't gotten there yet, but it's on my to-do list. Other than that, I think that's all I've got for you. Week 3 through 5 have been awesome. Next week, or maybe later this week, I'm going to try and post a video of kind of showing what I eat in a day. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, this is all on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @makingmanny. I post all of my meals, unless it's a repetitive meal, like I'm eating Brussels sprouts and salmon for dinner 2 nights in a row. I'm not going to post it 2 nights in a row, but I'll post it every other night, but not 2 nights in a row. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else. Wish me luck with the water, because 5 weeks out, I'm lucky to get in 40 ounces. That's my biggest concern right now, is not having enough liquids, because I think that's a direct correlation to my headaches, but I'm not quite sure. So week 3 and the puree phase are over. Week 4 and my nausea and my intolerance of regular food is over. It's just a little phase. If it may not happen to you. If it does, please know that you will be just fine. It's just your body has been through so much. It takes it a little bit to get readjusted to what life is going to be like now. So if it happens, you'll be fine in a few days. I was fine by 4.5 weeks. By the middle of the 4th week, I was good to go. I eat everything just fine now with no problem. A little bit, like I said, chicken is still kind of an issue, but other than that, I'm totally. So that's it for week 3 and 4 and part of 5. I will do a continuation week 5 at the end of the week to go over some other stuff that's happened this week, but I wanted to primarily focus on week 3 and 4. So those are week 3 and 4, and I will see you guys next week.